Chuck Carstensen, Course in Miracles number 93. We're on a streak of doing these videos and in the series about experiencing peace. And I started this series by talking about scripture, John 14:27, my peace I leave with you, my peace I give, not the peace that the world gives. So do not let your hearts be troubled, nor do not let them be afraid. So Jesus is about to go away, and all his followers were a little bit like, what do I do now? And Jesus is explaining, like, don't be troubled. Don't be worried. And throughout this series, I've been talking about the things of the world, temporary things that, are illusions of peace or don't really give you peace, that many people just, it's constantly like bringing them down. And we want to find peace. And the world's way of peace is seek and do not find. But choosing God is the way to find peace. You're not giving up anything by doing it. And even though these videos are short and I'm very straightforward, I'm not necessarily saying I'm convincing you to choose God, but here's what I want you to know that would be helpful for you, especially if you watch the last few videos, it'd be more helpful. And if you did watch my message on December 22nd at Cambridge at the Church, that'd be also helpful where I'm coming at. But to experience peace, very similar to the last one about generosity, you're experiencing peace by teaching it. Jesus taught peace. His peace he was leaving. How he taught his followers, he was leaving it with them, that they could do the same as he did. And he was giving it to them, like, here's the handoff. You can do this. They didn't get it at the time. They did not get this. That really, that's what he was doing. He's like, you're going to experience peace by teaching like I did. And churches have taught this, but they haven't taught everything correctly. I know there's 1,000 different, plus more than 1,000 different religions, because this religion's like their way of teaching is right, and this religion's like their way of teaching right. Now you're thinking, Chuck is thinking his way of teaching is right. Here's the deal. I don't know everything. I'm just learning. I'm practicing experiencing peace. And like I said in the past videos, you have to practice. But teaching is how you learn. In the Course in Miracles, a teacher, and I've mentioned this in the couple previous videos, is not actually a teacher, they're a learner. Then in theory, to have a teacher, you need a learner. So Jesus was the teacher. He had all those learners following him. And he's like, I can give you this. I can leave you this. But if you keep doing the things of the world with everything going on, you're going to be troubled, right? But don't be troubled, because you don't have to be. You can just choose God. And choosing God is basically practicing these things and giving them to other people. And it may sound very, very simple, but it's not any harder than that. I'm saying that churches have made it much harder, and people not going to churches have made it much harder. So it's basically just practice these things that you'd want to choose that would make your life better and make those people around you better. And you just leave them with that and give them that. But you can only do that by teaching. You can't just keep it to yourself. You literally have to go share it with somebody else. Now, do you have to share it on a video like I am? No. Should you share it to your spouse, your kids, the kids you coach? And that's one thing I'm going to continue to work on doing. I'm a coach for everybody. Probably knows that. They watch these videos. I coach basketball. And should I do it with my real estate people? Yes. Am I going to be perfect at it? No. Not going to be perfect. So we don't have to beat each other up if we're not perfect. We can just encourage each other to do better and not be troubled. But where you get trouble is if you're chasing the things of the world, which is seek and do not find, without teaching these things. And you don't have to know very, very much. You don't even have to actually like consider God a thing to be able to teach these. No, you might say that's blasphemy. You'd have to be. Yes, it would seem you'd have to be. But do you have to teach peace? Do you have to teach hope? Do you have to teach love? No, you don't. It would be better than a person that says they're a person of God it would be better than a person that says they're a person of God that goes around and teaching judgment, teaching condemnation, teaching attack, teaching anger. And many, many years, this is what I'm getting at. Many, many churches do teach that. They teach condemning other people. So then you are going to be in trouble. Like, you're going to be troubled if that's what you teach. So you have to teach to learn. And it is a requirement. And at the beginning of the Course in Miracles, and I mentioned this is video at 93, and a couple of my videos, the Course in Miracles is the required course, but the time you take, the practice you do with it is voluntary. It's required. It's required to give miracles. It's required to teach miracles. It's required if you want to experience peace, love, and joy, not the temporary peace, love, and joy of the world, but the choosing of God, peace, love, and joy that you'd all want to have. So it's a required course, and it's required to teach. So I didn't say, I thought about saying it's required to teach in the first or second video, and I left it for this video in the series because I didn't really realize that it was a requirement. And a requirement, again, it's voluntary. It's a voluntary requirement. But to experience peace, to actually be choosing God, you would have to teach. But when you're teaching, you're learning. So it takes a learner. And then guess what? When the learner comes along, they teach, and you're the learner. It's just a circle that you leave and you give, and not what the world gives. Hope that helps. Have a blessed day.